Welcome to New Jersey Living, the podcast, episode number 6. Today, we are going to take a dive into a different approach to home ownership, buying a home, searching for a home. This is something that is, I would say, really unique in New Jersey when it comes to new construction. And when you think construction in New Jersey, more often than not, because of where we live and the density of population of where we live, those new construction projects are normally some kind of tower, some kind of maybe a townhouse community. You don't find many developments, if you will, housing developments, the way you'll find when you get further out into some areas. Definitely, if you drive through neighboring states like Maryland, Delaware, for example, a lot of people have relocated down to either South Jersey or Delaware. And you have these communities where you have all these new homes. And that's not so much the case in our area. And today we are going to be talking with Lindsay Rickard of Welcome Homes. And she's going to provide some very interesting and insightful information on what Welcome Homes does and what their model is and how they work with us in the real estate community as real estate agents. So we're about to get this started. Enjoy the ride. Welcome to New Jersey Living, the podcast, where we explore all things New Jersey real estate. I'm your host, Corey Jones, a real estate agent with Coldwell Banker and team leader of the New Jersey Living Group. We're a team of experienced agents who specialize in residential sales in several counties ranging from Bergen County in northern New Jersey to Ocean County down the shore. On this podcast, we will talk to real estate experts, local business owners, community leaders, and town officials to get the inside scoop of various towns in New Jersey. We'll discuss everything from the latest market trends to featured local attractions with dining, recreation, and entertainment. Whether you're a current resident, a prospective buyer, or just curious about New Jersey real estate, we have something for you. So sit back, relax, and join us for a conversation about all things New Jersey living. All right, so welcome again. We are talking with a colleague of mine who we had connected a few years back when I was at a different brokerage, but now she is at Welcome Homes. I want to welcome Lindsay Rickard. Welcome, Lindsay, to the show.
Thanks so much to be here. Yes, Corey, it's been a wonderful ride those past couple years, like you mentioned. So awesome to be featured here on your podcast. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. The pleasure is mine. So Lindsay, I'm going to ask you just right offhand, because you and I first really started having extensive conversations when you made your transition to Welcome Homes. All right. So just provide a little bit of a background of the company and kind of like when we started having these conversations, what that outreach is about in terms of you all connecting with both realtors and people who are in that search process for a home.
Sure. Yeah. So my experience is in brokerage operations. Over a year ago, I made the change to Welcome Homes, which is essentially a technology company that is bringing software and streamlined process to the way that new construction is bought and sold. So obviously, given that, sort of business model, agents are a main part of, our referral network and how we actually get about, selling that new construction to buyers. But we also facilitate buyers through the entire process of new construction, which is, of course, not only appealing to those buyers, but also to the real estate agents that are working directly with those buyers. So Welcome Homes really exists to facilitate making new construction possible for anyone. We're making it as streamlined and as easy as possible. And I'm sure we'll dive into a lot of what those specifics look like to Welcome Homes. But that really is why we exist here today, is to take the headache and hassle out of doing new construction and make it streamlined and simplified so that it's accessible to anyone.
Yes. Yeah. And it was interesting. What I found interesting when you and I first started having our conversations is that my familiarity with a lot of processes where someone buys a home and there's someone else who comes and builds on that lot, let's say, it was one or two scenarios. It was either them finding a trusted contractor, right, that could do the job for them. But that often, not every contractor, but a lot of contractors are not necessarily architects, and that architectural and engineering work is often contracted out, or a buyer would have to seek that on their own. So it was that model, or there's the modular home model, right? So
Right.
finding a modular home contractor that then will bring the home in, and whether it be two, three, four segments, if you will, and assembled, on the lot. And Welcome Homes had a different approach. And what was interesting to me as well is that when you and I were first discussing this, what I had in mind was not so much a buyer, but a seller, because the seller owned a couple acres of land and is considering, all right, I'd like to sell this, but what is the best way to really market this? Because oftentimes most buyers are not envisioning everything, right? In terms of either a home that's distressed that they would have to remodel, or a lot of land that they have to envision a house and a whole process of that. Welcome Homes was a little different. All right. So and it's not modular by any means, and it's not you finding a contractor and getting, architectural designs and working out engineering and everything else. So give us, a little bit of a deeper dive of the nuts and bolts of process of what that Welcome Homes process looks like.
Sure. So it might be helpful to even back this conversation all the way up to our founding story. So Welcome Homes was actually born from a real life issue. So our founders, they had started a large tech firm prior to Welcome Homes. They went public, made a bunch of money. What do you do with all that money? Of course, you want to build homes for your families. So our founder went up to Westchester County, New York, wanted to buy a piece of land and build a home. Little did he know there's way more that goes into that whole process. It's not just as simple as purchasing a lot and then finding a contractor to build that home. There's engineers involved, there's permits involved, approvals involved, the town needs to get involved, architects and design need to be involved. There's so many different moving parts to the puzzle that our founder quickly realized was a part of a very archaic system of doing new construction. So, being that they were tech founders, of course, their first thought was let's build technology into the way that new construction is bought and sold. So we did exactly that. So to touch on all those different parties, like you mentioned, involved in a new construction project, Welcome Homes has all of those parties in house. So you're dealing directly with our Welcome Homes architects, our Welcome Homes engineers to really facilitate the whole project from end to end and have only one single point of contact throughout that whole process. Same thing on the selling side as well. For landowners, the same process exists where, okay, I may own a piece of land and I want to sell it. Well, how am I going to facilitate marketing that property? You're going to need to get engineers involved. You're going to need to get an architect involved to really be able to market the property, to show potential buyers what's possible. So same thing on the seller side as well. Welcome Homes is filling in all of those gaps to allow land sellers to also have a full comprehensive view of their property so that then when marketing comes into play with the agents, they're giving the potential buyers a full perspective as to what is possible on their lot, which will then help buyers, potential buyers that are in the market for land, understand, with more complexity, what they're getting into when purchasing a lot. It helps buyers make quicker decisions and ultimately reduces the days on market for a piece of land, which Corey, as an agent, land is rather difficult to sell because there's all those missing pieces and question marks going into it that a potential buyer would need to either conduct themselves by getting an engineer involved before they want to purchase a property, or the agent themselves who's representing that property or the seller themselves would want to get involved prior to listing the property so that any potential buyers would have all that insight as far as what goes into developing that site prior to actually marketing the property. So same process we utilize with our buyers who are interested in building on land. We're also replicating that with our sellers as well and providing a service to essentially give a comprehensive view as to what the possibilities are for a potential lot development plan. So we're really that full service agency that allows either the buyer or seller not to have to jump through hoops, not to have to manage an entire project and take on a whole job themselves, but figuring out how to either, what are we getting into with this lot that we're purchasing, or what are we getting into with this lot that we're selling? We're providing that full comprehensive service to give all parties involved, ease of process, simplicity, and the full picture as to what they're getting into.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And I appreciated how much because people are often visual in terms of what they want to buy. Some people are very visionary and they can just, run with it. And that's not the typical buyer, however. All right. So looking at the finance side of things, because obviously someone when listening, they're gonna ask, okay, yeah, but what does that cost? Right. So if it is a buyer, let's go back. Let's start on the sell side. We'll visit buyer. Let's start with seller. Seller has 2 acres of land. All right. And seller is saying, all right, you know what? I do want to consider this marketing plan because it sounds like it just makes sense. I can market something where I have a visual rendering of the property itself. I can show what the design looks like, floor plans looks like, and someone who's looking at my lot that is for X amount understands they can really this has already been vetted, right? For by and large, the whole property and whatever needs to be built on it has been vetted to support this type of property. So as a seller, what am I paying for that, to be able to utilize that service?
Lucky for the seller and for the agent involved as well, there is no cost to work within our new construction listing program. Welcome Homes is a newer company. We've been around for around 3 years. So we're certainly interested in boosting our brand and getting our brand awareness up there. So we don't charge anything for these services. Essentially, what we're entrusting in the seller is that they're sort of on our team and willing to take the jump to market the property in a different way. And they're trusting our engineers, they're trusting our design team and our sales team as well to leverage throughout that sale process. So we don't charge anything for that fee. Ultimately, our goal would be to sell the home that we have rendered on the site. Again, we're a newer company, so we're not looking to take anything back from the seller or charge any fees in that case. So ideally, getting our renderings and marketing materials up on the MLS is a win for us. Of course, as mentioned, our goal would be to sell the home that we have rendered there. But exactly to your point, the visualization of what a potential home being built on that site would be is so compelling to potential buyers. We need to see visuals. We can't just go visit a vacant piece of land and see trees everywhere and nothing. It's very hard to visualize. So not only for the seller, they think that's a great option because they want to know that information so that they can better sell their property as well as the agent, of course. But they know the value that it would bring to potential buyers who come along. And what we've actually seen is through our new construction listing program, by pairing a vacant land listing or even a teardown listing in that case with the cost of developing that site and also the renderings and imagery, site plans, you name it, to sort of compel that story or convey that story to the potential buyer has we actually have statistics that result in a 76% reduction in days on market for those land listings or teardown listings that are paired with our renderings and our pricing as well. So it's, for us, because we've built tech systems behind it, we're able to convert this information in just a couple of days. So it's really exciting to be able to provide that service to our buyers and our sellers specifically. And the program has been wildly successful because we're giving the information up front rather than a potential buyer having to go, find that information and pay for that information on their end.
Now that is, in my estimation, definition of value add approach, right? And saying
Exactly.
this is the quality and service that we can offer. We're just putting it out there up front and for the consumer to see, right? So I really
Exactly.
respect that. And I'm glad you mentioned teardown. So it doesn't necessarily have to be empty lot. Could be a situation where you have an older property, but it's in a area and on a lot size that will be very attractive for a total remake, right, from foundation up. So that is an option as well, correct?
Yeah, so I think the teardown, portion of our new construction listing program is one that's really interesting. Typically, if a seller owns a teardown and they're looking to sell the teardown, they're probably going to first consider what money can I put into this project to make it more appealing for someone to want to purchase. Things like landscaping services. Maybe they want to think about repainting the home. They want to maybe consider redoing or remodeling a kitchen or a bathroom, things like that. Now, with this new construction listing program, the client, the seller, can market that property with those potential renderings or listing collateral from our team, and eliminate the need for them to put more money into their home in order to get it ready to sell. Staging is a really big thing that agents love to do for homes. And I know staging, you could spend 10, 20, 30 grand on staging. So by eliminating the need for the seller to put in that additional capital into their project, into their home or their teardown they're looking to sell, that is so appealing because our program is free. It's a free offering. And what we're doing is legitimately pricing out what that new build would look like. So that is so appealing to sellers because I'm sure the first thought in a seller's mind is, oh, I want to sell my home, but how much am I going to have to put into it in order to, sell it for the price I want to? So this program really eliminates that need.
Now, on the buy side, then let's take a look at buy side. So, buyer this out there, they had their mindset on new construction. They realized, as I mentioned at the very beginning, that New Jersey is not the place to look for like a lot of new construction, single family kind of developments. They're here, but as you know, they're few and far between. All right.
Mhm.
So you're a buyer. You have your mindset on. Okay, you know what? And I'm not going to get that subdivision, but I have these locations in mind, and if I can find a lot that will support the size of home that I want, um, what do I do? What does my process look like in terms of spend? Am I going out to get financing that's going to be new construction financing and then go from there? Or is that something that Welcome Homes will provide resources with as well?
Yeah, so we provide resources for every step of the way. So we're really, like I said, trying to be a full service, new construction platform, basically. So from financing, from that perspective, we are active builders across 10 different states right now, mainly on the East Coast. So throughout all of those different states, we've made partners with banks. So they understand what we do, they understand how we work, and these lenders are able to facilitate a construction loan. So a construction loan is a little bit different than a traditional mortgage. Welcome Homes has created a construction loan process that allows the buyer to finance not only the new construction build, but also the purchase of a lot or a tear down if they need to buy that to build on if they don't already own a property. So the construction loan, essentially there's draws from the bank for funds throughout the process, and the buyer is only paying interest on the funds that have been pulled from the bank up until the home is completed and the certificate of occupancy is issued, the time at which it converts to a traditional mortgage. So even from the design and architecture standpoint and the engineering of the land as well, we're also facilitating the conversations around financing. So pretty soon we will have multiple financing partners in all of those states that we're in right now. So it's great to be able to provide the client with a connection to a lender who already knows what we do. They know how we work to again further that seamless streamlined process. But any client is also able to utilize their own lender as long as it's a construction loan. That's what we require. But it's a pretty simple project process. It's very similar in terms of applying as a mortgage. And the process to actually get the loan is very similar and comparable to that of a mortgage, just a little bit different about how the payments get drawn out from the bank and how the buyer is paying that interest out.
Got it. And if they going back to the process in terms of construction and how it's very much everything under one umbrella, everything in-house. So this is more of a scenario where that buyer, the expectation is that buyer be willing to work with Welcome Homes. They're not really piecemealing their own contractor work. Is that correct?
Correct. So Welcome Homes is unique in the sense that we are essentially project managing the entire process, the entirety of the process. And what we found, what made that essential to our business is that, Welcome Homes, the staff that we have is comprised of experts, licensed engineers and architects and people like that. And the average buyer does not, they don't have any of those licenses or expertise and whatnot. So it's tasked on the buyer to essentially, bring all those parties together in order to be able to complete their project. So we have a network of partners that we operate with in each of those different states that we're building homes currently. So we have a network of partners that have been pre-vetted by us. We also require our partners to take out performance bonds as well to ensure the quality. Again, we're really trying to ensure not only the quality of work, but the process of that work as well to make sure our partners are in line with what we expect. So Welcome Homes is unique in that we have multiple partners in multiple areas that we've already vetted. So it's not up to the buyer to go ahead and vet out those partners. We sort of have that whole network. They love working with us, those contractors and subcontractors and builders and whatnot, because they don't have to work with the clients. They get to do what they do best, which is build homes, and Welcome Homes handles all of the communication between the different parties. So builders love working with us, subcontractors and contractors love working with us because they get to do what they do best and just build the homes.
And there's something to be said, quite honestly. If you ever worked with a client that did either major construction or did a new build, part of that stress level and headache is the construction process. Is interacting with all the different. They're not necessarily interacting with different contractors per se, but even with the general contractor, it can be a stressful process. So knowing that you can be hands off, there's a certain level of comfort and luxury that comes along with it, right?
Right. And we keep the clients along for the fun parts, their design, we schedule site visits, they receive weekly updates. So they're certainly kept in the loop on the process, but know that they don't need to be there actually managing it. They have, trusted partners in Welcome Homes and are continuously receiving updates throughout the entire process.
Very good. So before we close out, I'm going to flash up for our listeners. You won't be able to see these images up here, but I'm going to flash just a few renderings up here so you can get a feel for what these homes look like. There and as these are flashing up, Lindsay, just walk through. There are definitely certain, I guess, tiers of square footage or models. So just kind of run us through the models and
Sure.
some of the price points we're talking. All right.
Sure. So we mainly have two different styles of homes. One being, a more secondary vacation style home, and then the primary home styles as well. So our homes range anywhere from 1,600 square feet all the way up to 6,500 square feet. So the beauty of Welcome Homes and the fact that we're a tech company is that we have built out a whole design studio that's online. So the client will select the home style that they want, and then they're able to actually walk through the home online and customize and design that home as they're going through each room. So the secondary home models are pretty unique. We've created some cabin styles, some A-frame cabins for the second home buyer. Welcome Homes is a really appealing process to get involved with for your vacation home or your second home. Same thing, we're managing the entire process. So if a client wants to build, let's say, 2-3 hours out in the Catskills or the Poconos or something like that, that's then 2-3 hours that they don't have to spend traveling out there every single week to manage their new construction build. Welcome Homes is on site, handling the entire process for them, and the client gets to sit back in New Jersey and go about their daily life while their dream vacation home is being built. So the home models, they definitely range, like I said, in that square footage, also ranging in style as well. We have some ultra contemporary homes, and then we also have some more, traditional style estate homes as well. Right now, I believe we have 19 different homes that a client can select. And within each of those homes, every room can be customized and upgraded. The one really unique aspect of Welcome Homes that is unheard of in the new construction world is our guaranteed price. So we are guaranteeing the price of our construction contracts. And Corey, I'm sure you've heard horror stories or had clients who have had experience with this where they're engaging in a new construction project and have to shell out 10, 20, 30% out of their budget extra on top of what they already agreed to pay the contractor. Things that come up during the excavation of the land. Once they start digging, they find something they weren't aware of. Change order fees if a product is not in stock when the build is ready to install that product. So we guarantee that price. Again, seamless, streamlined. We're trying to remove the headaches and the question marks, and we lock in our price up front. So that's a really unique aspect to our process and to new construction in general, is that our pricing is transparent as well. So as you're going through the design studio that's on our website, you're also able to see what the price is of the home and lock in that price. That essentially would be the contract price, and there would be nothing extra expected out of the buyer. So, really, really unique factor being our guaranteed price as well, that we're really lucky to be able to, offer to our clients. And it all boils down to, again, having every party in house here at Welcome Homes. We have a procurement team that's managing our material offerings. We have our civil engineering team managing the permit costs and things like that. And also our design and architecture team who are ensuring, the site placement of the home, the driveway length, the mechanics of the home. We've sort of already spec'd everything out and are allowed to, or, able to give that guaranteed price onto the customer.
All right. Very, so they'll be able to get all the information that they need. We're going to flash up really quickly here the website for Welcome Homes, and they can get all that information straight from the source. Is that right, Lindsay?
That is true. Our website is a great source of truth, great how it works page. You're able to see some buildable properties we have on there and then hang out and sit on the couch, grab a glass of wine, and design your dream home online.
All right. All right. That sounds like a nice place to be in. So we're going to conclude there for this particular episode. The website details will be in the description as well as to how to contact Welcome Homes. We'll have how you can reach out to Lindsay as well, because as you can see, she is a wealth of information when it comes to this program and the company itself. So I'm sure she'd be happy to have conversations. She's had conversations with quite a few of my clients already. And now I'm sitting here thinking of another one as we're sitting here talking about potential teardown, because I have one that are someone who's looking to potentially do that as well. So we'll talk that one offline. But
Great.
so yeah, let's definitely consider that as an option, particularly for those who are not necessarily satisfied with maybe inventory that they see. Jersey is a place where, like a lot of older places in the country, and this is certainly unique to certain cities or areas that have been around since like your pre-colonial times, but there are a lot of older homes. And some people like a certain design, but they don't necessarily want the age of, all right, I have a 80 to 100-year old home. I'd rather build on a lot, right, that I can find in the location and have choices as to what I can build and have convenience along with that. So this is certainly an option for someone looking down that road. So thanks again to Lindsay Ricker for joining us from Welcome Homes. Those who are listening in, please do click like and subscribe, follow us. We have more content coming your way. And obviously we hit on homes in the market a lot, but we also get into dining scenes, social scenes, and what have you. And Lindsay and I are going to definitely reconnect, not on Welcome Homes this next time, but she is definitely well versed on some good eating scenes, right? So we have some more episodes coming up on that, and she's a great source for that as well. So you won't be seeing the last of Lindsay. So again, click like and subscribe, follow us. We have more coming your way. In the meantime, stay safe and stay tuned into New Jersey Living, the podcast.